after Diff Q and Zipith sent off a farewell to that squad. It was so much fun to watch Shiv, Diff, and Zipith play together. Well, they are reborn in the form of the Young Gods, the Mexican God Squad, Luminosity Gaming, representing an entire sub-region of Mexico. Well, guess what? Game number 3, our last game on Stormpoint, is live. And to call the action, we got Spider Tiff and Vicky Kitty. Take it away and take us through our last game on Stormpoint.
Thank you so much, Follow. Yeah, our last game on Stormpoint, and I'm wondering if we're gonna have history repeat itself, Tiff, because we saw a similar start for FaZe in their day number 2 of playing. Now they've been kind of quiet here on Stormpoint, wondering if this is just not a strong map for them before we see a huge shakeup maybe going into World's Edge.
Look, this is only the second time that we've seen them here in Split 1 Pro League, and I'm gonna have to say it. Every time FaZe tries to play aggressive zone, it does not pan out for them. The moment they go into World's Edge, grab that 3rd ring beacon, and start finding success, setting themselves up in a god tier position, they come out with a map win with massive elimination. So I'm channeling the team right now mentally. I'm thinking, hey, come on, maybe change up your strats. You've got to do it sooner rather than later, because only top 9 will be advancing onto those playoffs, so you got to start now.
As we take a look at Season and their drop spot over in North Pad, it's also really nice to highlight the trajectory of where they had to traverse in terms of the ground on Stormpoint to get to that final circle in game number 2. They went from North Pad all the way over to Gale Station and securing a building off the rip because they were holding on to the left side of that final circle for a very long time. So again, very impressive showing from a team like Season, who had a rather weak day number 1, to then be able to get ahead of the curve and actually prioritize positioning more than anything else.
And I think that's kind of the key to success. And I really hate harping on that because sometimes it may not be as fun to play zone because there's a fine line. There's rotating in too early, and we've talked about that. If you take that god tier positioning too early on in game, you run the risk of all the teams looking to kind of eliminate you from that position. So you have to be able to defensively hold off any 3v3 fights that come your way. But throughout the mid game, you've got to do it. You've got to set yourself up for success with these end games having so many teams, especially in a stacked lobby such as groups B versus C. You've got to do it.
Yeah, as we look at Slept On, I saw dropping the longbow while keeping the Mosin. I'm like, that has to be a mistake. And then Psycho was like, you're right. And picks up the longbow in addition to that flatline. Always nice to see. A lot of loot for Slept On to work with here in Cenote Caves, another purple Evo shield. I want to take a look at the map. I want to see where this map is going to be taking us for a lot of our teams, because we saw early rotations going into Fish Farms, into Gale Station. You can see some teams already making their move. I mean, with so many teams already in this area alone, north of Shipfall, this tells me that the circle is probably going to be pulling towards the eastern side of the map. Just waiting to see if we could get a big version of the map here on the screen for everybody to notice, because a lot of these teams have already had access to a beacon, depending on where they land for their POIs, if it was granted to them. And there it is. Yeah. Oh, this is huge for Luminosity. Doesn't Luminosity land in Fish Farm? So this should work into their gameplay even better right now, looking at the fact that we're going to have a Fish Farm circle, unless that early fighting is actually coming in from Luminosity and a lot of the other teams rotating from Launchpad all the way south to Fish Farms.
Yeah, there's BR Demons at the top of the hill, looming within, waiting to see what kind of action is going on as all of these teams make their way over towards Fish Farms. You've got a Valkyrie ultimate in the distance, and it looks like BR Demons are going to take themselves to the sky as well. One of our other preseason qualifier teams looking to find the same amount of success as Season, so they're going on their merry way throughout the travesty of this map here. And this is such an interesting area of Stormpoint, and a lot of these custom maps tend to pull towards this area. So you're right in highlighting that Luminosity does land down here, so you garner all your loot, you prep for all the teams that are making their way to you, and if you're getting 15 eliminations in map 2 alone, and now everyone is coming to you, this is your moment to shine.
Yeah, it may not be a dub in their name for the last 2 games that we've seen, but this could definitely be a dub with the necessary KP that they need to not only topple over Seasons, but to start making that gap between themselves and the rest of this lobby. Like we noted before, those first 2 spots going in favor of Luminosity and Seasons is definitely in Luminosity's favor, just looking at the KP that they're able to obtain. The only thing they're missing is that number 1 placement that they need to secure those 12 extra points. 100 Thieves, though, one of our more quiet teams, as you can see right here, situated in 15th overall after those last 2 games. They've only secured 4 points, and they're looking to keep taking their time. They want to prioritize loot right now because their goal with the Watson and the Newcastle is just to bunker down.
Well, if you're Luminosity from nap number 1, you're like, yeah, 100 Thieves, please prioritize your loot so we can take it endgame. No, I'm just kidding, but for real, these IMC armories are so critical to the success. You get just such smart loot, and I have so much fun doing it. They're just basically sending these drones into the Shadow Realm so they can reap the rewards. But Sentinels, this is a team that we're looking to find some success. You've got Lou, formerly on the Gibraltar, making their way, bringing out Revenant, and it really hasn't panned out to find them success just yet.
Yeah, the one time we saw them activate the Death Totem was to see them disengage and repositioning. And with the Skyward Dive now in the middle of fish farms, a lot of teams have already made their rotation into these buildings, into a spot where they can overlook where all the other squads rotating from the northern part of the map are going to be in their line of sight. And now you have Sentinels rotating with the Skyward Dive in front of BR Demons. So they're going to put in some pressure, but look at the Watson fences that we already got set up. And the Watson ult, I mean, right now, Sentinels, they could sit pretty here. And if anything, they could utilize that Death Totem to actually force their way into taking up that building that BR Demons is situated in.
Oh, Space Station drop, just getting himself inside the window with an actual centimeter, just like barely. You could have like slapped him with a wet napkin. He was actually one. If you made that call out, it would have been right for one point in time, but just trying to reset. Meanwhile, first attempt is going to fall. You can see in the elimination feed, Verholst elected to grab a charge rifle again and is just wreaking chaos over here in the Fish Farms vicinity.
Yeah, Crust is making up his fences. Guard is doing the same exact thing on the other side. You can see the smoke grenade out for one of our teams rocking the Bangalore. You can see them just trying to loot safely as EA are on the outskirts of a lot of the chaos. They're still out in the open for some of these teams to continuously pressure them from the inside of these buildings. You see the Arc Star getting sent out by Mercy, but these fences, though, as Mercy's going to be able to destroy them just ever so slightly before backing away, it's about making a statement. They don't have the crypto and the EMP to immediately delete those fences if they want that building.
Yeah, and also their kind of team composition isn't going to lead them to be able to get inside a building and fortify it from the inside out. They have that aggro team, and Golden just absolutely getting decimated and punished for peeking around the rock. You're like, no, I'm good. I'll just go ahead, hide myself in my hole and heal up because that was not what I intended.
Meanwhile, the charge rifles are grieving this game, this lobby. Verholst getting the knock and the finish onto Vaxlon in the feed. You can expect this to be more persistent, especially in a circle like this, because that's what's going to allow these Evil Shields to get charged up even easier when you have the open line sights through the windows inside the buildings of fish farms. Expect the longbow to be a menace. Expect the charge rifle to continuously doing what the charge rifle does best, and that's to melt you as if you're put into a microwave yourself.
Ooh, and on board with Furia, just kind of on the south side of the Spiders. And I kind of like this for them, right? They don't have that composition as well, similar to E8, that's going to lend them to be able to hold down a building, because we know that Watson and co love that aggressive composition. We just haven't been able to see it.
Yeah, they've been struggling a lot, even with his Watson making his appearance right back in the lineup of Furia. Let's go into a listen into Furia to see what their next plan is.
They're playing like the wooden dock, like right behind this rock.
Scope this quadrant out here.
Who is a scout? You can?
Yeah.
You need to shoot those guys.
Bro.
I want to hear what they do in terms of, I mean, they're in the next circle, but I want to hear what they do for their next plan for rotations. If they're not going to do anything in the next, like, 5 to 6 seconds, then we can take it away, because I don't want to wait all 20 seconds for them to decide what to do. Okay, yeah, we could take it. All right, Furia, not really much going on in terms of comms. It looks like hopefully the Spirit isn't crushed. I know they're more quiet because they're trying to be more patient here on the edge of this circle. I mean, they want to clean up some KP, but I am seeing Furia in a different light right now, Tiff. This is a team that likes to get hyper-aggressive, fully send it onto teams, even if it costs them risking their own positioning. We saw that a ton over in the championship land. But they're approaching this differently, and they're forced to, because this is a team sitting overall in 18th place. with only 1 point to their name after the last 2 games.
Well, after that listening, I'm starting to think maybe that could be why, or maybe they're just playing cool, calm, and collected. They don't have to have those comms flowing because they know each other so well, but you gotta have the points to kind of back that story up. So I'm looking to see them find their way into this end game and try to figure something out. But meanwhile, TSM nestled up against this tree is going to be Verholz, the young legend with that charge rifle. Just being a little bit of a charge rifle, Charlie. I'm gonna say it. I'm sorry.
I'm laughing because Vaxon woke up for 1 second. He came in through the dropship for 1 second. His feet didn't even touch the ground, and he got deleted by a charge rifle from TSM and then a G7 shot from the other side. So he didn't even get the chance to even look at the other direction of Fish Farm. So unfortunately, that's some free KP going in favor to one of our other squads that were able to land their shots after that dropship had dropped Vaxlon like heavyweight, and now TSM are looking to clean up what's happening right behind them. Remember, Furia is not too far off from this point of view as well, as TSM are just looking to ping down any of the other stragglers that are looking to rotate into that next circle, like ESA actually, that are looking to rotate long.
Ooh, I mean, I kind of respect this, right? They were able to find a lot of eliminations throughout this, and it's kind of unique to see the way they've adapted to having Luda on the team. They are finding success. So I don't know the intel on how they brought Luda in, but I'm respectful of how they're playing. They're doing incredibly well. And speaking of well, charge rifle, Verholz, 2 words that are synonymous and go incredibly well together, and just nestling yourself onto a high ground. You are making these teams burn through all of their heals and ordinances before they can get to that end game.
Furia couldn't wait any longer. They're finding an opportunity to fully send it, and the shots off the wingman and the hipfire shots off the R301 hits Watson going for a quick reset, wondering if he has the opportunity to reload that wingman real quick, but he's got the high ground, he's got the positional advantage, and he's got the rest of Furia to rally right behind him.
I mean, Watson coming back for his debut here now in ALGS split 1, throwing down so much damage before going down himself. Now E8 done and dusted from the lobby, going for the full-on reset of Furia. But you've got people waiting in the distance, trying to crack a couple shots out at them, but it's not going to do anything. Furia is going to retreat to the rocks of where they came from and begin that full reset. But you've got to keep a line of sight on. You mentioned ESA going long, and Panders getting punished for peeking too long.
Yeah, I think that's ESA all over by the other side, and then TSM are also waiting on the outskirts, but they're in a bit of a difficult situation because they're out in the open with little to no cover. You can see that How, unfortunately, going down. They're hiding behind the Prowler nest to get How up. What a tough position for TSM to be in, but you have to say thank you to the likes of ESA and the other squad putting in pressure onto Furia, because now ESA have distracted Furia from pushing into TSM. They clean up Furia, and they go down in 18th place despite getting the KP from E8.
Yo, ESA's micro go hard. The fact that they're just taking these strong 3v3 fights and finding so much success, you would think that this team has been playing together for years, the way they are taking these micromanagement.
Seeing TSM now fighting on the other side of the field here. You can see TSM were able to reset with Imperial Howl, getting his shield right back up to healthy. 17 squads left, and TSM only have 2 KP to their name. Furia, yeah, they wiped out that last squad, but ESA wanted to immediately shift their focus onto TSM. We note, though, that there was another team on the other side of ESA. A lot of these squads have already taken up the buildings from within fish farms. So you see C9 situated inside one of these buildings already. I'm waiting to see where ESA is going to go, because if ESA is going to rotate to the back end, that's going to be a green light for TSM to try to wait out to see if that fight happens before they want a third party.
Look, if we are gonna get a clean 3v3 fight, let it be that TSM versus ESA. Meanwhile, Verholz just being an absolute menace. That's gonna be all they wrote for Optic Gaming. He was able to get it down onto Dupe through the window.
Oh, that was huge right there. The charge rifles are going crazy. The G7s as well from Reps, knocking out Luda. Sinus, please get escorted back to the lobby. And ESA, with the destruction of that black hole, TSM are looking to force their way to get some natural cover of the rocks to the right.
Yeah, I kind of like their movement right now. This is what we needed to see. Sure, there's still 15 teams left in this lobby, but TSM needs to make it out of this middle. And the fact that Atlanta Premier is still in the nearby vicinity as well, you can see they're getting some action onto ESA. So they're all kind of ready and waiting. So the question is, what is going to happen the moment that TSM starts poking and prodding to get into the next circle? Because there's only, I believe, 1 or 2 buildings left in the building or the ring that we're going to be pushing towards.
Yeah, it's difficult. A lot of these buildings have already been taken up. We saw how many squads already made their rotation into that circle after getting the beacon read off of Circle 1. And ESA, with only Capra alive, is fighting for his life. The poke pressure off the car. He's got the gold extended light mag, though, so he can go back and forth between both his weapons. Look at the tracking off of Capra. This young legend with his reaction time and tracking is impressive.
Impressive. It's like his finessing right there, trying to pop that shield battery while undergoing a lot of fire, but this is not a safe space for you. So many teams have their eyes on Capra, and they know ESA has found themselves near the top of the leaderboard. This would be a moment to shine and go ahead and send them back to the lobby early on, and I feel like TSM is just lying in wait, just trying to bide their time. They've already picked up 4 team kills here, so that's kind of a good start for them. They just need to double down and couple it with some placement points. We saw them get 2 wins and their first kind of showing here in the Pro League split. But now, can you double down and start now finding that action?
These charge rifles need to be stopped. They're creating chaos, and it's the reason why FaZe get knocked out of this lobby. They are out in 15th place. Unfortunately, they won't have the last chance opportunity to secure all those extra points from Storm Point. ESA also eliminated as Capra goes down finally to the hands of Kill. Let's do a listening to TSM while they decide where they're going to land after the Skyward dive.
Shoot the seer! Shoot the seer! Cracked! Cracked! Everyone look west! Just look west! Seer crack! 70
Cracked
on
here.
seer! Right here! Right here!
Rock dead.
2 went down right there!
Someone ulted right in front of us. Someone ulted right in front of us.
It's a duo! Can we kill the duo? Chill! Wait for Bingo! Wait for Bingo, please!
I'm gonna die to this Bengal. I'm coming to Phoenix.
I'm batting.
It's a duo for sure, okay?
We're gonna have to.
Can we watch these guys? Can we watch these guys?
I'm 1 HP. I'm 1 HP. Look at me.
I'm stunned.
I'm coming in with you. Coming with you. I stuck one. I got stuck. I cracked the nuke. Watson. Cracked the Watson.
Killing this guy.
They're shooting us.
Bro.
Oh, they're so low.
Like how?
Oh, no way that just happened. They wanted to send it on the duo, but they found themselves with Yanya to their back, blasting them with even more shots of a charge rifle. The split focus from TSM and the comms, you could hear them. They were trying to keep their cool. They were trying to fixate their attention in one direction, but unfortunately, they got too ahead of themselves when they decided to drop down on that Newcastle. That deployable barrier from the Newcastle really helping out that team that ended up right in front of them.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. You've got Oxygen Esports on your screen. 1 shot left, or 2 shots left in that Kraber, trying to make something happen for them. Currently sitting in 13th place, going to garner a lot of placement points for the team themselves. You've only got a handful of teams left in the lobby. We're down to 6 squads, and they are looking directly at a trio, potentially tripods, because they do have that Watson kind of set up towards them. And Atlanta Premier working the roof of this building. They are a full 3-stack, still relatively healthy, have Phoenix kits, bats available to them, so that's the prioritization that they need to have. I don't see any ordnance available to them, which can kind of not be the best situation. We saw in EMEA how great it was to have a plethora of thermites and arc stars available to them, but Oxygen Esports utilizing that trident to try and make a play behind this team.
Is this the right move? You only got a trident and a dream right here, and you're pulling up right behind tripods. Did they just grieve tripods into all of this? Because tripods was fixated on Luminosity Gaming right in front of them. Now Oxygen Esports put them in a sandwiching situation, put themselves in a way better spot on the outskirts of where the circle's going to be pulling. They're not even in that circle where they have to worry about the squads that are rotating outside the building. Accidentally gets into the trident while trying to access the black market, and Oxygen are literally on their own island in the middle of the water.
Luminosity trying to keep it alive here under the building. Bangalore smokes and just eating 100 Thieves alive. Now Yanya, your new kill leaders, they have turned their sights onto Oxygen Esports. This is just an absolute chaotic mess. Casello's just throwing down as much of the damage as they can through the smokes. Protectful, finding some success, and Oxygen Esports is your map 3 champion.
Oxygen Esports, they took it around town literally with a trident to be on their own island, and they capitalized so amazingly off of that final fight where they fully sent it on